Hey guys, let us continue with our modern history series. So we are seeing the socio-religious reform movement, in which the next personality is D.K. Karve and M.G. Ranade. So their important contribution were in the widow remarriage movement and also widow home association. So it provided education and training to widows so that they could support themselves. And Karve himself married a widow. This is like practice what you preach. So he is following that, and thus led to the example for others to follow. And the next personality is Henry Vivian Denzorio. His period is from 1809 to 1831. So very short-lived person. So Young Bengal movement 1820s, it happened because of this particular person. He initiated it. Taught at the Hindu college from 1826 to 31. So he was teaching physically. Then Denzorio inspired his pupils, that is his students, to think freely and rationally, question all authority, love liberty, equality, freedom, and oppose decadent custom and tradition. Supported women rights and education. They demanded induction of Indians in higher grades of services, protection of riots from oppressive zamindars, better treatment to Indian labor abroad in British colonies, revision of companies' charter, freedom of press and trial by jury. So they were demanding for higher position in, like, be it military service or anything. They're asking for higher position even to Indians. Okay. So it is society for acquisition of general knowledge. So he is a very good, really great scholar, like strugglist. He struggled a lot for various reforms. Failed to have long-term impact. Since he failed to have long-term impact, what happened? Because social conditions were not right for the adoption of radical ideas. These ideas were so radical that people were not easily able to adapt or accept it. No support from any other social group or class. Lacked any real link with the masses. For instance, they failed to take a peasant caste. So, direct ground level linkage was something which is missing. And the next very important personality is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. He started the movement in support of widow remarriage. So he wrote a book, Bahu Viva, written in protest of polygamy. Polygamy is a practice that men can have more than one wife. That is, they can have many wives, kind of thing. So in 1850, became the principal of Sanskrit college and opened the Sanskrit college to non-Tamils. He opened a college and he became the principal of it. Introduced Western thought in Sanskrit college. He helped organize 35 girls' school, many of which he ran at his own expense. And he was determined to break the priestly monopoly of scriptural knowledge. So he was against this priest culture, and he was also a crusader against child marriage and polygamy. So he was supporting widow remarriage, and the same way he also opposed child marriage and polygamy. And he was also a pioneer in the higher education for women in India. And the next particular personality is Balashastri Jambekar. So he started the newspaper Darpan in 1832. And in 1840, he started another one newspaper which is called Digdarshan. Darpan, Digdarshan. These are the newspapers of Balashastri Jambekar. We have to remember this. Then he also founded the Bombay Native General Library, and he also started the Native Improvement Society. So Bombay Native General Library, Native Improvement Society. So what was his major work? He is a pioneer of social reform through journalism in Bombay. So through his newspaper, he is spreading awareness and enlightening the masses. He attacked the Brahminical orthodoxy and tried to reform popular Hinduism. So in his newspaper Digdarshan, he published articles on scientific subjects as well as history. He was a professor of Hindi at the Elphinstone College, and he is also the director of Colaba Observatory. Professor at Elphinstone and director of Colaba Observatory. Balashastri Jambekar. And the next important personality is Dadoba Pandurang and Mehtaji Durgaram. So who is this Dadoba Pandurang? Paramahamsa Mandali, 1849. Branches in Pune, Satara and other towns of Maharashtra. So this Dadoba Pandurang, his major work is Paramahamsa Mandali, which was published in 1849. And also, this is a kind of organization, I guess, and it had branches in Pune, Satara and other towns of Maharashtra. And it began as a secret society that worked to reform Hindu religion and society in general. The founders believe in one God. They were primarily interested in breaking caste rule. So ideology was closely linked to that of Manav Dharma Sabha. So it began as a secret society for various reform, and they also believe in monotheism, that is, they believed in one God and they want to break the caste rule, and their ideology is similar to Manav Dharma Sabha. At that meeting, food cooked by lower caste people was taken by the members. So it is a very good movement, right? They are trying to abolish the untouchability practice. And these mandalis also advocated widow remarriage and women education. And the next important personality is Jyotiba Phule and his wife. So Jyotiba Phule basically. His period is from 1827 to 1890. He belonged to the small Mali community, which is a gardener community. So he along with his wife started the Satya Sodhak Samaj, which is Truth Seeker Society, in 1873. We have to remember the year also for important organization. So he also wrote a book, Sarvajanik Satyadharma and Gulamgiri. These two books. He dedicated this book, to the American movement, to free slaves, and he linked the condition of black slaves in America with those of lower caste in India. So he says that the situation of black Americans and Indians here are more or less similar. And what was his famous work? Leadership of Samaj came from the backward classes. So he made the backward class people the leader of the Samaj, like Malis, Telis, Kundis, Saris, and then Dangar. He was a pioneer in women education, and with the help of his wife Savitribai Phule opened a girls' school at Pune. He was a pioneer in widow remarriage movement in Maharashtra and also opened Home for Widows in 1854. So he has done so much for women empowerment. Phule used the symbol of Raja Bali as opposed to the Brahmin symbol of Rama. Phule aimed at the complete abolition of caste system and socio-economic inequality. So he wanted a kind of complete equality. This movement gave sense of identity to the depressed community. So his comparison between the black Americans and Indians, in the lower caste Indian, so that particular expression contained hope of one day, like the end of slavery in America, there would be an end to all sort of caste discrimination in Indian society too. And the next personality is Gopalahari Deshmukh. His period is from 1823 to 1898. Wrote a weekly Prabhakar under the pen name of Lokahitwadi on the social reform issue. So he wrote this particular weekly Prabhakar under the name Lokahitwadi. He started this particular weekly, which is called High Tech. He advocated a reorganization of in society on rational principle, modern, humanistic, secular value. Criticized caste system and Hindu orthodoxy. So all these people are working very hard to end the caste discrimination. Played a leading role in founding the periodical Gyan Prakash, Hindu Prakash and Lohitavadi. So he helped or played a leading role in establishing periodicals like Gyan Prakash, Hindu Prakash and Lokahitwadi. He said, if religion does not sanction social reform, then change religion. So he's saying, if a religion, it has to bring equality. If it is not bringing such reforms, then we have to change our religion itself. He's a kind of very radical person, it seems. And the next one is Gopala Ganesh Agarkar, 1856 to 1875. First editor of Kesari. Kesari is the newspaper of Tilak, right? So he is the first editor. Started his periodical. So he started his own periodical, Sudarak, which spoke against the untouchability and the caste system. He was a co-founder of New English School, the Deccan Education Society and the Ferguson College. So he is the co-founder of New English School, Deccan Education Society and Ferguson College. He was a principal of that particular Ferguson College also. He found this college and became a principal too. He was strong advocate of the power of human reason. So he believes in human reason. That is a kind of rationalist. And the next person is Gopala Krishna Gokhale. Gokhale's period is 1866 to 1915. So that is after World War I began. He died, it seems. So Servants of India Society. He started this particular society in 1905 and a liberal leader of the Indian National Congress. He is a liberal leader. And he also started a newspaper which is called Hitavada. In 1911 he started it. What was the aim of this society? Servant of India. Train national machinery for the service of India to promote by all constitutional means the true interest of Indian people. We have to promote the true interest of Indians. To prepare a cadre of selfless workers who were to devote their lives to the cause of country in a religious spirit. And he was guided by M.G. Ranade. Ranade is a guru, political guru of Gokhale. Gokhale is a political guru of Mahatma Gandhi. So it is a kind of cycle. After Gokhale's death, 1905, Srinivasa Shastri took over as president of this particular society. Srinivasa Shastri. The society still continues to function in the field of education, providing ashram type of school for tribal girls and palwadis at many places. So it's still providing the education to tribes and the other depressed people. And the next person is Narayan Malhar. So the next one is Narayan Malhar Joshi. So he started the Social Service League and its aim is to secure better and reasonable condition of life to the masses and work for them. So their activities included police court agent work and then legal aid, advice to poor and illiterate, excursion for slum dwellers, facility for gymnasia, theatrical performance, sanitary work, medical relief, and then boys club and scout car. So he was behind all this, Narayan Joshi. So he started the Social Service League in Bangi and also founded All India Trade Union Congress AITUC in 1920 and also organized many school, library, reading room, day nursery and cooperative society. And the next personality is Narendranath Datta, 1862 to 1902, who later came to be known as Swami Vivekananda. So what was the early name of Vivekananda? It is Narendranath Datta. So he started this famous Ramakrishna mission in 1897. He emerged as a preacher of New Hinduism. He preached from Upanishad, Gita, Jesus, Buddha and life experience of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And he gave lectures in the Parliament of Religion held at Chicago in 1893 and then several lectures on Vedanta in the US and also in London. So he gave many religious lectures in international forums. So what was the mission? This is to bridge the gulf between Paramartha, that is service, and Vyavahara, which is behavior, and between spirituality and day-to-day life. So he's trying to bridge this gap between service and behavior and also between spirituality in our day-to-day life. He advocated the spirit of liberty, equality and free thinking. Vivekananda advocated the doctrine of service, the service of all human beings. The service of Jiva, living object, is a worship of Shiva. So he's a kind of person who thinks doing service to the people is equal to doing service to God. Next one is Beramji Malabari. His period is from 1853 to 1912. And Diwan Dayaram Vidumal. Who are they? Beramji Malabari and Diwan Dayaram Gidumal. So Seva Sadan was started in 1908. Malabari acquired and edited the Indian Spectator, worked against child marriage and for widow remarriage among the Hindus. It was his effort that led to the Age of Consent Act, regulating the age of consent for female. Okay. So he was the first person who talked about the consent and also about the age for marriage of the women. And Seva Sadan. So he started this particular Seva Sadan in 1808. He acquired it. This took care of women who were exploited and then discarded by the society, like widows. It catered to all castes and provided the destitute women with education, medical and welfare services. And the next person is Shiv Narayan Agnihotri. So he started Deva Samaj, founded in 1887 at Lahore. In Lahore, Shiv Narayan Agnihotri founded Deva Samaj. So Deva Sadan is a religious and social reform society. The society emphasized on the eternity of soul and supremacy of Guru. Its teachings were compiled in a book called Deva Shastra. So the teachings of Deva Samaj is given in the book Deva Shastra. It is called for an ideal social behavior such as not accepting bribes, avoiding intoxicant and non-vegetarian food and keeping away from violent action. And the next personality is Radhakant Dev. So he started Dharma Sabha in 1830 and he is also an Orthodox. So what is the significance? An Orthodox society, this Dharma Sabha. It stood for the preservation of. So Dharma Sabha is for preservation of status quo in social religious matter and opposing even the abolition of sati. However, it favored the promotion of Western education, even for girls. So this is for maintaining the status quo. And then, so status quo in sati matter, but it favored education to women. And next one is Tulasi Ram. He is known as Shivadayal Sahib. Tulasi Ram Shivadayal Sahib. Radha Swami movement in 1861. So this was an artist started Radha Swami movement. They believe in one supreme being, supremacy of the Guru, a company of pious people, satsang, and a simple social life, spiritual attainment. They believe does not call for renunciation of worldly life. So he says that if you are a spiritual person, it does not necessarily mean that you have to renunciate everything. Sect has no belief in temple, shrines and sacred places. It considers as necessary duty, work of faith and charity, service and then prayer. And the next personality is Sri Narayana Guru Swami, 1856 to 1928. So he started Sri Narayana Guru Dharma Paripalana, SNDP movement. He is a person who said one religion, one caste, that slogan. So movement was born out of conflict between depressed class and upper caste. So he was fighting for the depressed class in Kerala. Among the elders of Kerala, who were a backward caste of Todi tappers and were considered as the untouchables, denied education and entry into temple, who the Elabas caste of Kerala. So he started this Arivipuram movement, started by the installing Shivalinga on Shivratri in 1888. In 89, that is the very next year, Arivipuram Kshetra Yogam, a big organization to help Elavas to progress materially as well as spiritually. So he started this movement for depressed class people and their temple entry. Arvipuram movement to show the concentration of idol was not the monopoly of higher caste. SNDP was registered in 1903 under the Indian Companies Act with Narayana Guru as its permanent chairman. So Narayana Guru became the permanent chairman. So it was even registered under the Companies Act. So next one, we do not know who started this particular organization, so that's why it's written as nil. Gokalinga Sangha in Mysore, 1905. It launched an anti-Brahmin movement. So it started by itself. We do not know who started or originated it. Gokalinga Sangha, Mysore. And the next person is C.N. Mudaliar, T.M. Nair and P. Tyagaraja. C.N. Mudaliar, T.M. Nair and P. Tyagaraja. So all these persons, they all are from Madras and they started the Justice Party movement for Madras presidency. Mudaliar, Nair and Tyagaraja. So this is to secure job and representation of non-Brahmins in the legislation. So at the time Brahmins were the most dominant, so they are trying to bring representation of non-Brahmins. In the Madras Presidency Association, they demanded separate representation for lower caste in the legislation. In 1920, it won the first direct election in the presidency and then formed the government. For the next 17 years, it formed 4 out of 5 ministries and was in a power for 13 years. So in the next 17 years, it formed power many a times, like that is 4 out of 5. It was the main political alternative to nationalist INC, so they became the popular opposition party to INC in Madras. After it lost to Congress in 1937 election, it never recovered. So it became a very good opposition party, but then it lost in 1937 and then it didn't recover at all. It came under the leadership of Periyar, E.V. Ramasamy and his self-respect movement. We already saw about him earlier. In 1944, Periyar transformed the Justice Party into social organization which is called Dravida Kalagam. Today we can see the growth of Dravida Kalagam in the form of DMK and AIADMK, right? So Periyar, he changed the Justice Party into Dravida Kalagam and withdrew it from electoral politics. And the next person is Periyar, that is E.V. Ramasamy Naikar. He is called as Periyar. He started the self-respect movement in mid-1920s and he sought to undermine the position of Brahmin priests by formalizing wedding without Brahmin priests. So earlier, Brahmin priests were the main person to organize or do marriage, right? Marriage rituals are done by priests. So he said it is called self-respect marriages and we don't need priests for such marriages. So rejection of Brahminical religion and culture. And the next and last personality is M.G. Ranedan Raghunath Rao. He started Indian Social Conference in Madras. Indian Social Conference, Madras, 1887. So the social reform cells of INC. This is the social reform cell of INC and the conference advocated intercaste marriage and opposed polygamy and Kulinism. So it started the pledge movement to inspire people to take pledges against child marriage. So that's all in this part, guys. Thank you.